Lost Records Bloomin' Rage is truly an abysmal experience. It's a cringe-worthy modern take on a 90s friendship between four girls with a sort of sci-fi twist to it, which doesn't really go anywhere in the first part of the game that they actually decided to release because it's not a full experience. And while I personally had given it a playthrough, gave it a shot, and absolutely hated it, all of the gaming journos are praising it, saying it's one of the best games that they've played in a long time, which is so mind-boggling and just proves how out of touch these people really are. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, everybody's going to have a different opinion on things in life, like entertainment, for example. A game that is a 10 to me might be a 2 to you, and vice versa, but these are the people who are being paid to give us their opinions and really dissect games and experiences and really try to give us content, make us understand why a game is good or bad, and they almost never really agree with our takes, and they're just so out of touch with really what makes entertainment good or bad and why certain products are really so heavily criticized. And Bloomin' Rage, we all had a lot of worries for leading up to release, just because the moderators on like their social media, or I guess the social media managers themselves, were silencing people. They have hidden a lot of replies. They haven't allowed a lot of open discussion. And when it comes to people just in the industry defending this game, it's been very prominent. I mean, there are people going on to LinkedIn saying it is your responsibility as a consumer to monetarily support this game, and we need to be more open-minded and all of these ridiculous things. And I decided I was going to stream this because I've talked about it, and I usually do like to stream things on the channel that I discuss heavily. I played it through PlayStation Plus, so I didn't actually have to spend any money on it, and if I had, I would definitely regret it. But this is a game that now I understand fully why there's only a couple hundred people playing it on Steam, because it is a nightmare all around. There are only two okay parts within the game, and those are definitely the more ominous parts. I mean, this game, when they are younger, because there's like two time periods, there's 1995 and 2022. During the 2022 one, they constantly talk about the pandemic, and in the 1995 time period, there are a ton of inaccuracies. Like, they make a reference to the Blair Witch movie, even though Blair Witch didn't come out until 1999, and it really just seems like someone's 90s fan fiction of what girls would be doing, but all of these girls are lesbians. They all can romance each other. They constantly talk about their sexuality, and the only reason why they actually become friends is because they're all misunderstood, because they're part of this small town who just do not understand what it is to be a young girl, and they talk about their periods all the time, and it is just an extremely cringeworthy, like, modern day 90s fan fiction. It was terrible, at least in my opinion, and there was really nothing that I enjoyed about this experience except for the music, and I guess the fact that it actually has visuals, like it's an image on my screen. But The Verge and Games Radar and GameSpot and even Keen Gamer are all praising this, saying it's one of the best experiences they've had in a long time with the game, which just, again, goes to show how out of touch these people truly are. They go on to say, the first half of Bloomin' Rage ends in a dramatic cliffhanger, of course, but it's one that's not quite as audacious as it seems. Some hints have been hiding in plain sight, but a small concern lingers. Stories like these often introduce so many twists that could derail the game before the story goes off the rails so quickly that it inevitably plummets. This was partly why the recently released Life is Strange Double Exposure faltered in its concluding chapters. For now, there's plenty of time to wonder. We still have to wait 2 more months or so for Bloomin' Rage's melodramatic conclusion. So yeah, this is actually split into 2 parts, so they expect you to pay $40 for half of a game, which only took me about 5 hours to complete, so this will probably be like a 10-hour game all around. But they say basically that it's not complex, and that's that's why it's good that, oh, they don't leave you with a ton of twists and turns. And really, what you're doing in this game is learning who you are, and you're going through these idyllic memories of Swan's days with her friends. And oh, it's deeply emotional, which is just, again, I don't think a really good experience here. And I would have been perfectly fine with a game where you're playing as like a younger cast of characters, and this just goes on to feel like a modern audience lesbian take on Stranger Things. Just not good, in my opinion. Here we've got Games Radar giving it a 4.5 out of 5, which is just so crazy to me. They say the prose are its fiercely earnest story of girlhood with the joys of and drama of being a teenager with a brilliant supernatural mystery thrown in. There's only like, I would say 10 minutes in the 5-hour experience that really touch on the supernatural mystery. And oh, spoiler alert, one of the characters dies, and we don't know that she's dying throughout the game. So she basically just dies after this really cringe-worthy part of the experience, which was so funny to me. Having a character die of cringe was really, really fitting. Creating mini films with the camcorder creates bursts of creativity, but also acts as an important story device. You don't have to use the camcorder 95% of the time, and in the parts where you actually have to progress the story, it just feels very cut and paste, film A, film B, and then put it together. Deliciously lavish audio and visuals. This is a game where you want your graphic settings turned up to 11. This game does not look good. It truly doesn't. And the cons are some camcorder sections occasionally are checklisty. All of the camcorder sections that are required are checklisty. In just one part for now, we have to wait for more. Oh my gosh, guys, I can't believe we have to wait for more from this amazing experience. It was not good. You don't actually care about any of these characters. There's no emotional depth to them. The only reason why they become friends is because they're all just so misunderstood. None of them feel like they're authentic people who actually were living in this world before you came to know them, because there's only a couple of notable characters aside from them, like no parents. The only ones are a sister and her boyfriend. And by the way, yes, I'm sure you could have guessed, the only villainous character within this experience is an evil white man. They're saying that it's a supernatural mystery that's introduced in the first tape and a resolution I'm looking forward to in tape 2. Yet, importantly, tape 1 isn't just a setup for the climactic finale of the game, it feels like its own distinct part. I'm hooked by the supernatural mystery, but I'm also hyped to learn more about the girls. I'm personally not. It was bad. And hey, again, if you like this type of experience, that's great, but this game does not deserve even close to a 4.5 out of 5. GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10, which they said was deserved because the camcorder gameplay's fun and adds a personal touch to an overall experience. It invokes nostalgia without feeling overly cringy or ham-fisted. Everything in this game is ham-fisted. The character models, visuals, and environments are gorgeous, intricately designed, and demonstrate immense artistry. And while the journos love this experience, it's very clear at this point in time that the gamers do not feel the same. I mean, it's funny that they say this, but ultimately, all of their praising isn't really getting them far. Like I had mentioned, I played this via PlayStation Plus, so maybe there's thousands upon thousands of people playing it that way, but I highly doubt it because those numbers are typically on console not much different than the Steam numbers from what we understand. And according to SteamDB, the all-time peak was at release 19 days ago with 1,990 people playing, and right now in-game is 404. And the 24-hour peak is 441. Maybe if they gave us an experience that was longer than 5 hours, it could have actually held people's interest. But I mean, 5 hours is really short, and I wasn't even rushing through the game. I was doing some of the, like, side camcorder work, but everything about this game truly does just scream another below average experience that focuses so much on the diversity of its characters and the way that they're so misunderstood that it ultimately just comes across as another attempt to pander to modern audiences. And maybe Don't Nod is going to change all that in part two, and it's going to actually become a full blown supernatural mystery, and it'll be ominous, and it'll have a really big, cool ending. But I've gotta be honest, I don't have any hype for that next part, and it is, at least so far, the worst game that I have played in 2025. Definitely going on the worst games to release of the year list. I will be keeping my eye on this though, but all of these articles really just go to show how out of touch the journos really are with the average gamer. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.